Hey guys, Michael Hyatt here, and I've got Megan with me. Hey Meg,
Hey guys. Hey Dad. It's great to be with you.
how are all you guys doing out there? Leave us a note in the comments. And by the way, if you want to leave a comment and if you want us to bring your comment on screen, then you've got to click that link in the post. It gives me permission through Facebook to bring your name and your picture on. Okay? So if you guys can see us and if everything looks good, give us a comment and we'll post that here on screen. So, Meg, what a week. What a
What a week. I mean, doesn't it kind of feel like every day is a week in and of itself? Like last week feels like a year ago
yeah.
now.
Yeah. So it does. I mean, I remember last Thursday we had our business accelerator workshops going on.
Hmm.
And on Thursday morning, about 1 hour before we went on, before I was supposed to be on stage leading our coaching clients through this coaching intensive, I just thought this just isn't right because Wednesday night was the president's address. Remember?
Yeah.
Again, it
Right.
feels like
2 years
two
ago
years
when
ago.
the president spoke. Right.
But I thought, everything we thought was normal the day before is no longer normal. So we got to
Yeah.
pivot. So we did. So fortunately, Joel and I had been thinking through the content. And so I was able to stand up on Thursday morning and lead about 25 of our business accelerator clients. Normally we have 50, but we had about half cancel. So I led
Actually,
them
about
through
half of them on the live stream.
yeah.
So we have half
So we
live
did the
stream.
rest of the live stream. So I led everybody through a process of how to think about this current crisis and how to, kind of get your bearings and how to start moving from sort of retreat mode to advance mode
Yeah.
and all that. So, any
Per-
rate,
Well, particularly from like the perspective of a business owner or a business leader, because the pressure is doubly
yes,
heavy. If you're responsible for an organization or a team, the pressure that you're feeling right now is even beyond and greater than, what individuals are feeling, which is already a ton.
totally.
So
So Blake's telling us Blake's actually on our team. He says looking great. So that's
great.
good to know. And Adrienne, good to see you. She says, so glad you're talking about this. I'm seeing lots of people giving away their services away for free.
Yeah.
Even having clients ask me to discount my services all of a sudden. Okay, so
Hmm.
that's really why we came online today
Yep.
was to talk about this because as you would expect from us, we have a point of view and an opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but we have an opinion. So one of the things I'm seeing online too is a lot of entrepreneurs just suddenly deciding that they're going to give away their stuff.
Yeah.
And it'd kind of be one thing if they were just doing that, but these are some big entrepreneurs that are doing that. And I think it sets a horrible precedent. So, Megan, do you want to just kind of talk about why you want to set this up?
Sure. Well, first of all, I want to just communicate empathy for that impulse and even affirm the impulse because I
Yeah,
think one of the great things that's coming out of what we can all agree is a horrible situation is there is a sense of unity in the country, which, I mean, gosh, if we've needed one thing, unity was
no
in short
kidding.
supply until recently. And so that's great. I think we feel like we're all in this together, that we're going to have to make it together. We're going to have to find solutions together. And so that impulse to want to help each other is so good. So first of all, I want you, if you're listening, to hear me say that's a great impulse. And generosity is a great impulse.
Yep.
So those two things are really important. Here's the problem though. If you think about it, if everybody gave everything away for free, what we already know is the economy is struggling. I mean, we are, as our financial advisor told us earlier this week, he said, this is the weirdest, most volatile downturn I've ever seen in my career, and he's in his late 50s, I think. And so, there is a sense in which this is unprecedented in its presentation. And with the economy in the position that it is, we need a plan for survival. We need a plan for recovery. And we need to ask what's the best way as business owners and leaders that we can contribute to that and entrepreneurs. So the problem is if you give everything away for free, suddenly there's no economic activity happening.
Yeah.
So there are certain businesses like the cruise industry, hotels, restaurants to a large extent that will be hit mightily by this, already have, may not even survive. The problem is that for the rest of us who have a path forward, if we also don't charge, not out of necessity, but by choice, then the economic activity that creates the engine that drives the whole business or the whole economy forward evaporates, and that's a huge problem because we need to have a way to create real value in the economy that people are really willing to pay for because it's relevant and helpful. That's our recovery plan.
That's
I mean,
right.
I think entrepreneurs are really the long-term solution to this problem. And so by giving things away, we actually take it's a short-term gain, but we take opportunity away from the people that need it most. We take jobs away from people that need it
The
most right
jobs
now.
is the key thing. I mean, first of all, like our business, we employ about 40 people. And if we don't charge for our stuff, I mean, thankfully, we've got really strong cash reserves and we can, even if everything dried up, we could sustain ourselves for a while, but not long. I mean, it's a finite resource, our
Right,
cash, and that dries up. And then we have to let people go. And then people going out into the economy, trying to find
right,
another job. I mean, what are the chances of that? Probably not
right.
great. So again, I think it's better. I mean, I personally, I am happy to pay people for services right now. I'm kind of
Totally.
going out of my way to pay people for services, tip well, all that stuff, but just in order to keep this, economy going, because I think the virus issue is a short-term problem. I do think it's going to get worse. And I do think the reporting is going to get worse. Just the testing by itself is going to create
Sure.
the perception that it's a bigger problem than it is. I think it's already gigantic, but the perception of it's going to change over time. But it's a
Hmm.
short-term problem. What's the longer-term problem is the economic recovery. And that's where we as entrepreneurs and business owners play an important role because we're kind of the driving force of this economy anyway. I think that entrepreneurs, small businesses supply 80% of the jobs in this world. And so, if we all of a sudden just decided based on a few, in my opinion, bad examples of people giving stuff away, we think, oh, maybe that's required. We don't want the pushback from people who say we're salesy. But if we honestly do that, we're going to be out of a job. Our
Right.
businesses are going to be shuttered and we're going to have to let people go. And that's not great.
Exactly. Well, let me give you an example. I mean, I think this will make it really clear. So right now, some of the businesses that are doing the best are delivery businesses and grocery stores, right? So
Right.
like
Perfect.
I've been using Instacart. Some people use Ship depending on where you lived and what's available to you. If suddenly Instacart said, man, we know it is really hard to get groceries right now, and in fact, it's actually kind of dangerous. And so we're going to waive our membership fee. We're going to not ask you to tip our delivery people, and we're just going to make it super easy and nearly free for everybody to get groceries. Well, that sounds awesome, right? Like that would totally help the general public and all of that. Except the problem is, how long could they sustain their business, right? How long could those workers who survive on those tips that they get from deliveries continue to show up for work? I mean, it would dry up in a matter of days, I'm sure. And the problem, even deeper than that, is that we need those companies that have very relevant high demand services right now to lift all of us up. That creates economic activity. There's now a new market for that provides jobs for people that are being laid off from places like restaurants and hotels and theme parks and cruise ships. All of a sudden, places like Instacart and Shipt and Costco are able to employ those people and make a way, but only if people are paying.
That's right.
Or, for example, Amazon. Amazon could do the same thing and they could say, man, we're one of the safest, fastest ways for people to get goods that they need. So we're going to just, take away the fee for our Prime membership. We're going to ship for free at our own cost. And then we're going to give our groceries and household goods away at cost. Well, I mean, that sounds great right up until you realize that Amazon would go away. And, when we think about the economic recovery that's going to be necessary, Amazon and businesses like that are a key component of the recovery effort. So we need them to be strong, just like we need you and your business to be strong.
I want to bring some questions on here. I've got more to say about this, but the key point here is that free is not a sustainable strategy.
Hmm.
And I don't think it's even healthy in the short term. But let me give you, I want to get somebody's comment up here. This is Rich. Rich said, I like your point of view. As a marketing agency owner, we are offering free consults to get people back up and running and hopefully give them some hope. So it's time, not services. Yeah, I think that's fine. I have no objection
Yeah.
to that kind of thing. I mean, all of us are having to pivot. Maybe you're having to upgrade or enhance the service that you're giving to your existing clients. And like, for example, Chad and I, Megan, you don't even know about this, but we decided today that we're going to add and up our involvement with our business coaching clients because they need support right now. And we came up with a
Right.
very specific plan that's going to require more involvement and more engagement from me, but it's necessary. We're not charging them more, but we're just adding to it. And I think what Rich is suggesting for the sake of gaining market share, for the sake of serving your clients, for the sake of, it's in my best interest to keep my highest paying clients alive and well, right?
That's right.
So if their businesses tank, then it backs up into my business. So that's fine. I have no issue with that whatsoever. Okay, I'm going to just see some other comments here, Megan, see what we can bring up. Can you see these comments too, by the way, when I bring them up?
I can't. No, sorry about that.
So,
go ahead.
That's right. So Ellen said, what do y'all think about offering some small offers that are low cost as sort of an entry level product?
Absolutely. I think it's a great idea. We're doing that too. In fact, I don't think it's either or. I think it's just having a real strategy instead of kind of a hopeful, warm and fuzzy strategy. So that's really what we're advocating for, is a financially responsible, long-term strategy that's good for the economy and your team. So certainly giving things away right now, as you can, is great, as long as it doesn't compromise your viability as a company. So we have about 3 or 4 things right now, not related to how we're serving our paying clients, totally free, that we're going to be rolling out in the next week or two to our larger audience. We can't wait for that. In fact, we have a free training that we're doing tomorrow and beyond. That's the first part of that. So we are passionate about finding those entry level ways for people who maybe can't afford to buy something from us right now to help them, because we do want to help people at the same time. And I think that's a way to be generous. Another way to be generous, though, is to super serve your paying customers. So become absolutely obsessed with their success from your unique point of view. How can you help them get through this? What do you uniquely have to offer that's relevant to this time and their needs? And you're able to serve them in a special way.
Let me just ask a point of clarification here. So Amy is saying to us that I'm harder to hear than Megan.
Oh.
So she says, could you maybe bump up your microphone? Are any of the rest of you having a hard time hearing me? Is it more difficult to hear me than Megan? Because I might be able to make an adjustment here.
That's like the first time that's ever happened. We have kind of a running joke in our company that you're always louder than I am, so I'm always having to turn my mic up.
Yeah, maybe I turned it down too low. But if somebody could confirm that for us, I want to make sure that it's,
everybody's having the same experience.
No, actually not. So Chad says I can hear both of you really good. Maybe I just turned away from the microphone there for a minute.
Yeah,
Amy.
maybe so.
So, okay, here's another one. Okay, this probably is a little bit off topic and non-urgent, but I always get this question. So Julie said, Michael, tech question. What web camera are you using? Great quality picture on it. Yeah, I'm using a Sony 6400 with a Sigma 16 millimeter 1.4 lens. And let me just show you. I'm going to
really geeky.
I'm going to send you my webinar kit because I've got a whole, I get asked this question all the time.
Well, it's more relevant than ever before. I think a lot of us are trying to improve our virtual presentation experience and virtual meeting experience all over the place right now.
Yep. I just dropped a link that has every piece of equipment that I use. So if you guys want to go to that, it's on kit.co. So anyway, the link's in somewhere in the comments here, I think. Okay. So let me just see here if there's any other questions. Okay. Jonathan, by the way, Amy is one of our clients. Jonathan is also one of our clients. So it's kind of fun. Jonathan said, I'm glad to hear you addressing this topic. My plan is to up-level the free online value, similar to what we're doing right now, but not discount my products and services. Megan, do you want to talk about how the pivot that we made on our online newsletter, the quick win?
Yeah, absolutely. So we provide a regular online newsletter for people with, productivity and leadership hacks and advice on a regular basis. What we realized was what people really need from us right now is daily or, nearly daily, as often as we can get it out, encouragement and input on how to weather this storm. What's our best thinking today? What do you need to be focused on? How can we help you focus on the things that matter most in your business and in your life so that you can do the next right thing? And that's really how we feel like we can help people best. We're going to be recording a couple of podcasts later on today that will be uploaded uploading as fast as we can get them turned around on the production side and get them out to people, because we want people to have up to the minute information. Now, we had, of course, a whole content plan for both of those avenues that we've just kind of sidelined. We'll get back to that later. But what we know you guys need right now is relevant information for the crisis that you're in today. And so that's our focus, is how can we help you? I mean, it kind of feels like hand-to-hand combat.
If you guys have questions, please add them and we'll do our best to troubleshoot or whatever. So Kelly said, having to move employees to work and home and keep them focused on task. Yeah, companies like ours that have been doing remote work for a long time are probably at an advantage because we've got experience with it. I think we're in the process of putting together some resource for remote work best practices, because I've literally been doing this now for 9 years. And here's what I can tell you. First of all, this current crisis is going to accelerate decisions that probably should have been made a long time ago. But here's the thing I know about remote work is we don't believe in it exclusively, for sure, in normal times. But people are typically more productive when they're working not in a big office where they're distracted and getting a lot of interruptions. So we have no issue with that. Our people are hyper productive. We still have to talk them into taking time off. So if that's any encouragement.
Hey, you know what? I just thought of one thing that I wanted to address on this topic of, free versus paid. One of the things that I've seen a lot on Facebook in the last couple of days are businesses asking for customers to keep paying for products or services, even though they're no longer able to be delivered, like keep paying for your gym membership, even though you can't go, keep paying for, your kid's karate class, even though you can't go, keep, buy gift cards at restaurants. And all of that is fine at a certain level. But I want to be really clear. That is not a sustainable solution because it's not economically viable. The economy works by people creating value and then someone recognizing that value and thinking that it's more valuable than the money that they have in their pocket, right? And so they're willing to make that trade. And that cycle just continues and continues, and that's what perpetuates the economy. So the problem with just paying for something that you're no longer using is it's not really delivering value. What instead needs to happen is these businesses, all of us are in the process of figuring this out, need to find a way to innovate and pivot and make our product or service relevant, or come up with a new product or service that's relevant. Right now, for example, gyms could offer online classes. You could do online, as we saw recently, online karate classes that somebody's doing. And there's so many ways to do this to serve people's needs with kids at home or being cooped up. But you have to deliver real value. Asking your customers to pay for a service that you can no longer deliver might make it for a week or a month, but that's not going to get you through. This time you're going to have to figure out a paid offer that people are willing to trade their money for.
Yeah, I wish you weren't right, but I agree with that. Like, for example, my gym just closed down. It's a beautiful, big gym. And, it was a part of my morning routine going there constantly, every day. And so now it's shut down. And so they sent out a notice that they were going to give credit and suspend, your membership so that you didn't have to pay for something you weren't getting. Mm-hmm. And my first impulse was, no, that's not sustainable. I don't know what your cash reserves are. Just keep, taking my money because I want that gym to be there when it's done. But my guess is there's probably going to be a lot of people that don't feel that way.
Yeah, I think just the concern from my perspective is that business owners think that that's a strategy, just asking people kind of on the basis of goodwill to help them make it. But you are the solution to your problem. You're the solution to your own survival right now, not the goodwill of your customers. You've got to figure out how to add value that's relevant.
So for those businesses that are really tanking, like we had a comment up here before and it's scrolled past, so I'm not sure I can get back to it. But somebody here said that they were, I'm just kind of looking as we're talking here because it'd be more effective if I could bring it up. But somebody said that they were a GM in a hotel and basically they're having to lay off most of their people.
Yeah.
I was last Thursday at Business Accelerator. Matt Brady reported to me that he had heard that the Omni Hotel in downtown Nashville on Wednesday was at 92% occupancy. Mm-hmm. And overnight, it went to 8% occupancy. Yeah, so here's Valerie. She says, I'm a hotel GM. This is brutal, laying off most of my staff. Yeah. So now here's the thing I want to say. If you're in that situation, and there's some businesses that are affected to that degree, right? If you're in the airline industry, the cruise ship industry, a lot of travel-related stuff, the best you can do is, try to keep the enterprise alive so you can survive to fight another day. And you may have to preserve the jobs of the few when you can't preserve the jobs of the many. And I get that. That's a tough, very difficult call. And I faced that in the Great Recession. And I thought to myself, when I was in it, the only thing worse than laying off, and we laid off 20% of our people, but the only thing worse than laying off 20% of our people was laying off 100% if we had
Right.
to file for bankruptcy. So these are hard calls that you have to make. So in those kind of situations, I think you got to be researching what's available in terms of federal emergency loans, grants, all that stuff. And there are a lot of resources out there. So don't get paralyzed and give up. And that's the big thing I would say to
Yeah.
you guys that are business owners or CEOs. Don't give up. You got to keep, you're not going to fail unless you quit. So you
Yeah.
got to stay moving forward.
I agree with that. That's a great opportunity to just say that we have a free live training that starts tomorrow that you can register for. That is called Confident in Crisis, your 3-step plan to lead in chaotic times. And where can people go to register for that? I didn't put down the URL. Do you know off the top of your head, Dan?
I don't, but maybe Marissa can put it. I think she's watching.
Great. Marissa, can you put that in the comments for us? That's really designed especially for leaders and business owners and entrepreneurs who are trying to figure out a plan to get through this successfully. So if that sounds like you, we would love to have you join us live. It's free. It's going to be totally packed with practical information. And that's just one of the things we're trying to do to help out. So I think the other thing I thought about this yesterday, I was thinking about all the people that, are faced with layoffs and things like that. One of the things to remember if you're in that position is to remember that your skills, while your job may not survive, your skills are something that you can take with you wherever you go. You can find a way to be resilient and to create a new opportunity for yourself in the future with the skills that you have. For example, if you're a GM of a hotel, you're a leader, you understand how to mobilize people, you understand how to create experiences for people, you understand how to create quality and customer service. Those will be relevant in the future, even if the context changes for you in the short term. So I just want to encourage you, if that's your situation, that there's no doubt about it. It's brutal, but there's also hope for the future.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so Marissa did. If you guys look for Team Michael Hyatt, a response there, the free training, the URL is webinars.michaelhyatt.com/crisis. And my guess is that if you just go to michaelhyatt.com/crisis, that will resolve and you don't need that bit at the beginning. Actually, why don't I put that on the screen? I can do that.
Hey, that would be awesome.
Boom. If I was a little bit more adept at eCam and if I'd thought about it, I would have put that URL in an overlay. So some of you that use it know what I'm talking about. Okay, so so I wanted to say that, first of all, this free strategy, giving your stuff away free, is not sustainable. But the other thing I want to say is that, honestly, people, it depends on what the product is. If you're giving away food in the middle of a crisis, that's one thing. But online courses and things like that, and I've seen a lot of people pivot to that. We've gotten a lot of pushback from people that have asked us, well, why don't you just make your stuff available for free? Here's what we've discovered about doing that. In the past, I've been naive. I've tried to give away free stuff to people that told me they couldn't afford it. I'm trying to be generous, and that was my spirit. Or people that were in nonprofit ministry and all this stuff, and I gave it away for free. I gave tickets away to our events. Here's the thing I discovered. People don't frickin' appreciate it. They
don't use it, right? That's the problem. They just don't use it if they don't have an investment.
Yeah, they don't use it. And so what we'd find out is that we gave free tickets away. Those were the people that didn't show up, even though we had an expense, to accommodate them. They didn't show up, or they didn't pay attention. They came late. They just didn't get that much out of it. So, when you pay attention. So it depends on what industry you're in, and I'm probably overlooking something. But for sure, if you're the online training business, consider the opportunity. People are at home. They've got an opportunity, to grow and to take advantage of online courses. Yeah.
Okay. Can I say something about opportunity and ethics for a second? Because probably some people are thinking, yeah, but man, this is such a time when people could exploit other people. And you're absolutely right if you're
Yep.
thinking that. For example, I mean, there's, a hand sanitizer is more expensive than alcohol right now, that you could drink. I mean, it's crazy, like what's happening in terms of, people who are opportunistic right now. I think right now what we need are legions of entrepreneurs
Yes.
and business owners and leaders who have a fierce commitment to integrity, who are unwilling to sacrifice others for their short-term gain, but who are willing to step into the unknown, to create real, relevant value, and who are willing to ask others to pay for what it's worth. So there is a way to do what we're talking about that is ultimately in the best interest of our communities and our economy, but that has total integrity, that is above board ethically, and it's really the right thing to do. I mean, there's a moral imperative to do this, I think, for the common good, that in no way hurts other people.
Yes.
As a company, I mean, if you followed us for any length of time, you know that unyielding integrity is the number one core value of the 8 core values that we have. It's the one that really is the umbrella over all the others. We refuse to compromise our integrity for the sake of short-term gains. We're not going to do it, or long-term gains for that matter, or, not that there would be any, but we will not compromise our integrity. And at the same time, we are fiercely committed to making it through this crisis, coming out on the other side stronger for the sake of our 40 employees and their families, and for the sake of all of you listening. We believe that we have something to offer you that can help you, and we are committed to doing that. And we want you to have the same commitment, and most importantly, the same confidence. This is about confidence. We want you to have the confidence to charge for
Yes.
relevant products and services, because that's what the world needs from you right now.
Okay, let me just say this. If you get some pushback because you're selling, like I got some pushback today for some of our Facebook ads that we were running for the planner, I would encourage you to have a canned response to that that's thoughtful. Because can I just be honest? I mean, honestly, when I get that kind of stuff, it pisses me off. I mean, first of all, shaming anybody is not a great strategy. And when
Right.
you're shaming people that are trying to make a living and trying to figure out, what to do in this crisis, or who have families to feed. Like I got somebody, my church shamed me the other day and said, stop sharing this negative news with us. And I said, first of all, I thought I was sharing really balanced, wholesome news. But I said, look, and this is why I needed a canned response. So I'm confessing.
Yeah,
So,
we pretty much have fired you forever from customer experience.
yeah. So I just responded. I said, well, look, I don't have the luxury of sticking my head in the sand. I got 40 families that are dependent upon me and upon our company to feed them. And, I've got to go to work and be creative and keep selling stuff for as long as I can sell it in order for their families to eat. If I just throw them, out into the cold, out into the street, then all that does is puts more stress on government programs, on emergency care people who are already going to be overstressed in ways that we can't imagine. And forgive the rant, and forgive me for saying pissed, but that's how I feel. So what I'm suggesting is have a canned, reasonable response. Our team is working on that now so that you can use that and give a thoughtful response. People are in different places, but please, I'm pleading with you, don't shame people that are selling their stuff in this crisis. You may not find it relevant. Some people may find it enormously relevant.
Yeah.
Like there were people that were complaining about us advertising for the planner, and some other people jumped onto those same ads on Facebook and commented and said, are you kidding me? This is keeping me focused so that I've got something to do, so that I'm not just so distracted by the news and become unproductive, because that's the worst thing I need right now.
That's right. So if you're thinking, you're listening to us and you're thinking, man, I need a plan for getting through this crisis, we have a free training that we're doing tonight. As we said, we do have some free things that are available. It's called, not tonight, tomorrow beginning. It's called Confident in Crisis, your 3-step plan to lead in chaotic times. It's particularly designed for leaders, business owners, and entrepreneurs. So we want you to attend that. The link is in the comments here. So check that out. Marissa, if you could go ahead and post that again so people don't have to scroll up, that'd be great. Another thing is it's easy to think, because you may be in a situation, or someone well is in a situation where their financial resources are totally diminished, that nobody has any money right now. That's not true.
That's
there
right.
are certainly people who are for whom that is a reality. Many people, though, if not the majority of people, still have the resources they had 2 or 4 weeks ago. They may just be more inclined to hold on to them right now and are being more selective about what purchases they make right now. What that means is that if you can engage them in a way that is relevant and really adds value and helps them with a solution right now, that's so helpful to all of us. Because here's the thing, if and when your business comes through this crisis on the other side stronger, you found a way to be relevant, you found a way to serve customers, they're still with you, you will be able to create opportunity for many of the people who right now or in the future will be laid off and out of work. That is how we recover. The people who can survive, who have the ability to pivot, who are tenacious, who are innovative, will make opportunities for the people for whom opportunity is closing right now. And that's what we need. That's why I'm saying this is a moral imperative that you charge for your products and services, and that you do the hard work of figuring out how to pivot, of figuring out how to serve people at a higher level than you ever have
Totally.
before, because the world is counting on us as entrepreneurs. We're the solution.
Okay, I got to bring this comment on from Danielle. She said, I own a dance studio, so we'll be shifting all of our classes to Zoom meetings. We have some families on automatic billing, which would normally run on April the 1st. Should I still collect that automatically or ask for permission first? Well, first of all, I do think you should communicate,
Mm-hmm.
and I would still let it run automatically, and I'd send an email out, and I would say, look, here's what we're doing. We can't serve you personally because of social distancing, but please call to arrange a Zoom call to replace your normal lesson. So we have a buddy, Kyle Chowning, who is here in Franklin, and he owns a big music studio. And so they switched over to all private Zoom lessons. And sometimes that's the best you can do. And by the way, you might just discover that there's a huge opportunity in this.
Well, here's what we know. Speaking as a mother of 5 kids, guys, I almost lost my mind yesterday with my kids home. It was like the moment when it really hit. I mean, if you had come to me and said every day at 9 o'clock from 9 to 10, your kids can do dance with me. It's been raining in Nashville almost every day. I am paying for that. I mean, send me the link, I can pay for it. I will pay for it. I mean, there is a huge problem that every parent in America is having right now. They have their kids home while they're trying to work. I mean, most people that can work remotely that haven't been laid off or, or otherwise sidelined. I mean, we're trying to figure out how to make it work with our kids. Oh my gosh. Yesterday I was trying to write an email to you guys while I had my baby on my back in a carrier. She's crawling up my back, fussing, and I'm like, this is a joke, so we need help us. Like, your services are relevant and we will pay for them right now. Honestly, all the free stuff is totally overwhelming. If somebody came to me and said, for $100 a month, I'll tell you exactly how to homeschool your kids for the next, however long it's going to be, done. Sign me up. I don't have time to research that. I'm too busy working right now and trying to, do all this stuff with my kids home.
That's awesome. Okay, so yeah, we're all struggling with this, man. Guys, the questions are so good. By the way, if you see my eyes darting over this way, it's because I'm scrolling comments, and I'm trying to decide what to bring on. So I am paying attention. I'm not distracted. Well, a little bit distracted. Okay, so I want to bring this comment on from Keith, who's one of our Business Accelerator clients. He said, thank you for being candid. It really upsets me as well. There's enough stress out there. I need to focus on survival of the business, even with this crisis. Absolutely. And let me just say to those of you, hopefully most of you that are on this are business owners or business leaders in some capacity, or even nonprofit leaders. You do not have the luxury, right, of not figuring this out. You've got to figure it out to the best of your ability. It's going to be a different solution for everybody, but you don't have the luxury of, sitting this out. But sometimes the people that are doing the complaining online, and I had 2 examples in the last 24 hours, were people that have a secure job, who are able to, just sit and read the news all day and not try to figure this out, and apparently have some gratification in shaming people that are trying to figure it out. So, just don't be that guy. Don't be that
Don't be
gal.
that guy. That's right.
That's right.
By the way, if you're, Keith, you know this already because we've shared a lot of this information with you already as a client. But if you're trying to figure out your plan for how to navigate through this, we want you to attend one of the many free live trainings that we're going to be doing in the next several days called Confident in Crisis, your 3-step plan to lead in chaotic times. This is totally designed for leaders of teams, business owners, entrepreneurs, nonprofit leaders. We really feel like that's where our expertise is. Dad, a lot of people may not know this about you or may have forgotten if they've been following us for a while, but you led a $250 million company through the 2008 and 2009 recession, and you came through it successfully. I think that is pretty remarkable to look back on, and I'm sure you hoped at the time that experience would not be relevant again in your lifetime, but here we are. So I think that's really where the principles that we're going to be sharing in this training are coming from. And it matters who you listen to right now because not everybody's been through this before.
Well, thank you for that. I certainly learned a lot of lessons. And like you said, I was hoping to God, praying to God that I would never have to use that information. But as it turns out, it's coming in pretty handy. And I've been really able to guide our clients and our customers. By the way, Keith came back on with another comment that I have on screen that I think is like one of the worst ideas I've ever seen. He says, send them over to Grandpa's house. Keith, bro, you cannot do this to me. I don't need these living petri dishes, at my house right now.
He's suggesting that I send my kids to you. And between my other sister, Mindy, who has kids, we have 9 kids between us. So like, if you want to start a day camp, I'd pay you for that.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. I got to see. Let me just check the questions here. Oh, Gina said, this is pretty cool. Gina said, I keep having to add more sessions to my online classes. Parents are paying for my course because it has value and it keeps their kids happy and occupied. I'm bringing in more money now than ever before. Here's the thing I learned in the Great Recession. Not all businesses are created equal. I mean, we know that, right? But there were some businesses that pivoted and thrived that ended up bigger and better than they were before. Some of them, we didn't end up bigger at Thomas Nelson. I'm not going to kid you. But we were profitable every single month, so we never lost money. And we certainly came out stronger because, it's like all of a sudden our company was given a gym membership and given a really tough trainer, which was the recession. And we came out, I mean, you should have seen our abs at the, metaphorically speaking, our abs at the end of the recession. Yeah. Our company was leaner, meaner, stronger, more profitable, better than ever. So, and again, I don't want to diminish the fact that there are some businesses that are really, really struggling.
But it's easy to just think it's all about survival, that your only priority at this point is survival. It's not. While that is the contingency planning and the risk management is certainly priority number 1, priority number 2 is absolutely looking for opportunities because they're all around you. Yep. If you are willing to be open-minded, there are so many opportunities and opportunities that would never be presented to you at any other time. I mean, this is such a weird time that there are things good and bad that are coming out of it that, we would never see in any other circumstances. That's part of what we're going to talk about in the free training that we're going to do in the coming days. Confident in Crisis, your 3-step plan to lead in chaotic times. We really want you guys to be there because, again, this is like proven, tested advice from your experience leading a really, really big public company successfully through the recession, never losing money for 1 month. I mean, that is astonishing. And we want to share that with you because if you know how to think about it, and that's a lot of what we're going to talk about, if you know how to think about this correctly, you can not only get through it, but you can actually thrive.
I want to bring another comment on. Let's get real here for a minute. This is Tamara. She said, husband is a dentist. He makes money with his hands. Must close for safety of patients and employees. Ideas for how to monetize his time off for who knows how long. I think there's a couple things that I would say here. First of all, it might be possible, but maybe not, but I certainly wouldn't rule it out. It may be possible for him to make money in some other way, besides delivering pizzas, some other way during this difficult time. But here's the other thing. This is going to be an enormous opportunity for a lot of people, and it was in the Great Recession, to develop a new capability that they didn't have before. So let me give you an example. So one of the things I realized, all my speaking engagements canceled. I'm not out there on the road. I'm not traveling like I was. I've suddenly got a lot of, frankly, downtime that I didn't have before. Now, amazingly, up until this moment, I've been busier than ever before because we've been scrambling trying to figure it out. But I suspect that I'm going to have a lot of downtime over the course of the next several weeks. This is an enormous opportunity for me to do something in my business that I really haven't had the time to do for a couple of years. And that's go back into our content, our core kind of foundational content, and upgrade it and make it even better than it was before. So maybe there's a new capability you can learn, a new training that you can take online, a new language that you can learn, something that will make you more valuable on the other side of this crisis. Because here's the thing, we are going to get to the other side of this crisis.
That's right.
You know, some of us will limp across, some of us will walk across, some of us will run across, but we're all going to get to it. You can't fail if you don't quit. So I launched Platform University in 2012. And we were still, man, if you remember then, the economy wasn't great then. We were still trying to come out of it. We still had pretty high unemployment, a lot of people that had been dislocated as a result of the Great Recession. Those people poured into Platform University because they wanted to learn a new skill. They wanted to build a platform that made them less dependent on, somebody else and employers, being able to pay them. So just again, you got to look, you got to brainstorm, you got to think, you got to stay in creative mode and try to come up with opportunities.
Well, it's kind of like, how are your skills transferable to other industries, other contexts, other mediums? Those are all questions to ask.
So here's another question from Delissa, or comment. She said, my dentist is asking people to wait in the car, call when you get there kind of thing, then straight back to a room. Yeah. We got to do what we can. So somebody asked if Megan's on a green screen. No, that's her real background. It's my real background.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
she's using a non-fancy webcam. So I got a really fancy one, and I've posted the link above. And I see that Julie just posted it again. So let me just throw that up here. That's the link to all the equipment that I'm using. By the way, you guys, this is being recorded. So this will be, on this Facebook post. Facebook auto-magically converts this live stream into a recording. So you're going to have access to that. Sean, by the way, said, could the dentist do online consultations? Let me tell you, there's a lot of people out there who are moving to something called telehealth.
Yeah, I did this the other day, actually.
Okay, talk about this experience.
Okay, so we use Blue Cross Blue Shield as our health insurance provider in our company, and one of the new benefits that they've rolled out is free or no cost telehealth to their subscribers. So my youngest daughter, our baby, has a little bit of a cold, not the coronavirus, don't worry. But I felt a little paranoid. She was coughing in the night and congested, and so I called this 800 number that we have access to. It's like it's like virtual urgent care, basically. I set up an appointment. The doctor calls me back. We talked about the situation. They did all the normal intake before, and then we just talked about it. And he asked me questions, and I told him, kind of what the presentation was. And he said, you know what? I think she's fine. She just has some post-nasal drip. That's what's causing the cough. It's nothing to worry about. However, he could have prescribed medication if she had needed an antibiotic or had an ear infection or something. And I just thought, man, this saved me so much time. Normally to drive all the way up to our pediatrician or to go to urgent care would have been 20 minutes each way. And then we would have waited another 20 or 30 minutes, and then we would have seen him, and then we still would have had to go to the pharmacy afterwards. And it was great. He was a local doctor. So this is not like a national thing. These are doctors in Tennessee through Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. And it was a great experience. And I think the truth is that's more valuable to me, even if that was not offered for free. That was the choice of our healthcare provider. But I would have paid for that that's more valuable now to me than being able to go into a physical urgent care office.
That's good.
Right. So that's just something to keep in mind. It's easy to think that virtual products and services are less valuable than physical in-person ones. That may be sort of true depending on your context normally. That is not true now. People are so grateful to not have to go out and take the risk of leaving.
What if it was a benefit?
Right.
Okay, so Stephen had this comment. He said, I just got off a coaching call with one of my own students and grads, and those implementing online concerts are getting paid more than live in-person gigs. Amazing. He says it's such a mindset issue, though others are scared of charging for anything online. Should we do anything we think of or stay focused on our core skills and services? So let me just take a run at this, Megan, and I'll let you
Yeah,
comment.
this is a really good question.
Okay, so here's what I would say. The most important question that you can ask is, what do my customers need now that I'm uniquely qualified to offer? Let me repeat that again. What do my customers need now that I'm uniquely qualified to offer? If you follow that, or if you answer that question, you will not go wrong. Now, here's what that means. Some of you may need to reposition your services, which they might think at first blush are optional. You may need to basically reposition and remessage your advertising copy, your marketing copy, to make them more essential. Prove to them why your service is relevant now. That's your job. That's not their job. That's your job to create relevance. You were doing that before, right? I mean, you had to have advertising copy and marketing copy that proved why your product was relevant in that situation. Now it's a different situation. So you got to write different advertising copy and prove why what you're offering is essential or necessary or useful in the current context. So that's important. Some of you are going to find that you have to do more than that. You have to say, wow, there's another product that our customers need that I hadn't thought of before now, but I think would be enormously relevant right now. And so I'm on it, you know? So like, for example, a lot of us are seeing promotions from companies like Zoom or Teachable or other people that provide online education kind of services, that this has given them a huge opportunity to move into a market that they weren't in that much before. But now all
Mhm.
of a sudden the opportunity is like, you know, hitting them in the face.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think the first line of defense is to do something that fits within your existing vision for your business. That doesn't mean the specific strategy. That means who you are, who you serve, and why
That's
you
right.
do it. So that's your first thing. If that is for some reason irrelevant, then yes, you do go outside of that if you have to. But you don't just do anything and everything you can think of. You want to slow it down long enough. Give yourself. I mean, really, this can look like an hour of just thinking it through. Think through a strategy of how you can serve people in a way that really adds relevant value. Throwing stuff like shotgun style is not going to be helpful for people. You want to be methodical, you want to create calm in a chaotic environment, you want to bring stability and security to people in the way you communicate, in the products that you offer and the services that you offer. So be thoughtful about that. Don't just go. Don't let the fear you feel drive your decisions in a way that creates chaos for yourself, your business, and the people you're leading.
Yep, absolutely. Good word. Okay, so I think we need to wrap this up because we've
Okay.
got an executive team meeting here in a few minutes. One of the things we're doing in the midst of the crisis is we have a standing meeting with our executives via Zoom. So we get on, and sometimes it's 15 minutes. Sometimes, like yesterday, it was an hour, and we really didn't have enough time to finish. So it just depends on the day, but staying connected is an enormous opportunity. By
Mm.
the way, one of the things we did last night as a family, Megan, you weren't able to make it, but we provided a Zoom link to all of our family members. So we've got about 20 family members in our immediate family here in Franklin. And so we had everybody jump on, including my mother, Megan,
I
85
know.
years
I
old.
love that. She's the best.
So for like 30 minutes, I was trying to help her get on Zoom, and it was really challenging. You know, I had to explain to her what a browser was and all this stuff. But she uses a browser. I don't know why it was so hard. But about 10 minutes into the call, well, right before we started the call, I said, Mom, look, I'm sorry we didn't get you on. Maybe I can come over tomorrow and set it up for you. Well, like 10 minutes after we got into the call, boom, there's Grammy. And so she had figured it out on her
That's
own.
awesome.
And so
That's
she was
awesome.
on Zoom with us, and we had a call for about an hour. Guys, this is an opportunity. I really think that this whole crisis is maybe one of those once in a generation, ginormous opportunities for us to kind of reinvent how we do family, reinvent how we do our businesses, reinvent how we do community. And so let's not miss that. And I think staying connected, people seeing your face is awesome.
Well, that's right. Well, the thing that we want most for those of you who have joined us, and thank you, by the way, for taking time to jump on here with us. The thing we want for you is for you to understand that you are the answer to this
That's
problem, not
it.
just for yourself, not just for your business, but for the world, really. I mean, when we think about what this recovery is going to look like, and that's needs to be our orientation, entrepreneurs, business owners, and leaders are the solution to the problem. We want you to be confident in the moral imperative of charging for your products and services. We want you to be inspired to pivot to serve in ways you never have before, because the world is counting on you. Your team is counting on you. Your family's counting on you.
Yep.
Your neighborhood's counting on you. We're all counting on you. And you can do this. I mean, there is more strength and creativity inside of you than you've ever seen before, and you're about to discover it. And that is an exciting thing.
And the last thing I would say is don't let the trolls get you down.
That's
You know,
right.
there are going to be people that criticize you, but I learned a long time ago. In fact, I got this from my executive coach going through the recession because we were getting a lot of criticism from people. And she said, you know, there's a difference in perspective from people who are in the stands versus those who are on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you and I are on the field trying to figure it out. There's going to be people sitting in the stands that are, you know, eating their popcorn, their big Diet Coke, and have all kinds of opinions about how we should have run the play. You know, I was about to
Don't
say a
worry
bad
about
thing.
don't worry about them.
Don't worry about him. That's it. Don't worry about him. Just stay focused on running that next play. The important thing right now is to win the game, and you can do it.
That's
All right.
right.
I'm going to finish this up. Thank you, guys.
See you soon.